the more
Just
I
a little late.
play with it, joy of business. Here we
Joy
go.
of business, totally.
So yeah, the more I play with, I would say really one of my kind of like my where I've really shifted my attention lately. It has been really on. I've been doing a lot of stuff with bodies, a lot of body classes, and becoming a 3-day body facilitator. And I love bodies so much. I love playing with bodies and moving and touching and like all the things. Like I love, and I've been including my body in my business a lot more, like really deliberately and seeing, like really living from, okay, so if business is the adventure of living, if it's actually the adventure of creating my life and living, then what is that, like, what does that actually look like? If I was actually living that, what does that look like? And it's, so there's been a lot of, for me, like really choosing to create my life from the joy of it, with the joy of it, and really including my body. Like I spend a lot of time lately on, like going ice skating and going to yoga and like doing really fun things for my body, and just having a blast with my body. And that translates into my business in such a dynamic way. It's really like, it's completely not linear. And it's really magical. And I'm just blown away. It's like, so to me, that's a huge part of how the joy of business is showing up and what I'm choosing with it lately. And it's been really cool.
Yeah. Thank you for that, because it's so interesting when it's almost like you're including your body in the creation of your life. You're including your body in the adventure of living, right?
Yeah.
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 Which not very many of us really know what that even means. Like I know
Yeah.
before Access, I didn't even know what that meant, including my
Yeah.
body. It was more of, yeah, I have a body, like I'm supposed to have one. I'm alive.
Right. But I think the way people think of, like, I know, like in Access Consciousness, the way that the invitation, at least, for how you can look at your body is just so different than, most people that don't have these conversations. Like they just sort of are like, this is the thing that holds up my head, and my head is what's actually important, and this
Yeah.
thing is a burden, and it's not that fun, and it kind of sucks, and I have to deal with it and drag
And
it
it
around,
hurts, and it
yeah,
hurts. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. It hurts.
Yeah,
It
and I'm
hurts.
like,
It
oh
hurts.
my gosh, but there's so much fun that we can, it's just like such a playground.
Yeah,
So
that.
I actually have I have a specialty class called Creation of Living, which is all about that. It's all about like including your body in the creation of everything, and letting your body be the guide for living a pleasurable life and a hedonistic life, and how that really, everything that we create from there dynamically expands, and to me, there's a lot of similarities. It has a different energy to it because it's more, we do a lot more stuff with the body, but it's similar to a Business Done Different class. And in that Business Done Different is, I always say, it's like a creation masterclass, Business Done Different, so this is just sort of a different type of a creation masterclass, I guess I would say.
And it's really interesting because in business, we're not in this reality. It's not about the inclusion of a body in business, right? How many leave their bodies behind when they go to business?
It's about excluding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's about excluding it and not including it, and probably just including the head. What's supposed to have the answers? Just that. And if you,
like
how much
Zoom, right?
Yeah, that business, and I'm doing business, and see how much information I have. Yeah. It's really interesting. So when you talked about the hedonistic, life and the hedonistic choices that you're making with your body, with your, how does that transform into your business? Does it transform into your business? Does it show up as how does it show up in your business?
Oh man, in so many ways. I mean, I have a sense more every day that I never really work.
Mm,
And also that I don't ever not work. Like,
mm,
you know, it's
mm.
just, but it's like work doesn't feel like work at all for me anymore. It's like, oh, this is pinging me. Okay, I'm going to go here now. I'm going to put my attention here now. But there's so much fluidity to me. Like tonight I'm doing this body class tour in the United States and I'm leaving tomorrow um, and I was like, I decided my body actually was like, we're going to drive to this weekend's classes. Like it's an 8-hour drive. And my body actually really wanted to drive. And, and it was literally like, let's bring the yoga props and like a cooler full of really good food. And, like I was like, oh, if I bring my car, then I can have like all my
Yeah,
amenities, and
right.
and
Yeah.
my body really wanted that. It's going to
Mm,
be a pretty full-on weekend because I'm also hosting a class for Dane here. There's a money class going on. So I'm doing both and in the morning with Dane and then the afternoon body classes. And I was like, what would it take for this to actually be like for my body to actually be greater by the end of this, rather than like, more like stressed out or, not happy or whatever.
yeah.
And it was just so cool because I was like, getting some food ready and cleaning up my kitchen. But then I was also like on my computer doing some stuff. And it's just a sense of like, it's all part of it, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I live my life. And when I know I need to get on my computer, I do. And then that might be 5 minutes, it might be 30 seconds, it might be 5 hours, it might be, but there's this real fluidity between everything, and even when I'm
And
on my computer, I'm like,
mm,
you know, taking care of my body and just all the things. So anyway, I'm rambling.
no, no, I love what you're saying because it's like that fluidity that comes from where you're not willing to separate your business and your home. Like it's like, how
Yeah,
many people have the point of view when I'm home, I'm not supposed to do business, or I'm going to leave my business in the office. And when I'm
yeah,
home, it's just going to be about family. So
yeah,
it's almost like this massive separation that you can't
yeah,
work while you're home, and it becomes more of an ordeal of putting it, where and how much time and in all of that, which becomes so significant.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally, totally. um 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Speaking of, my son is like, when are you going to be done? I'm like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes,
That's
something like
fine. Yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
He
10
wants to
minutes is
talk to
good.
me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
speaking of family and
Yes.
business, and it's like,
Yeah.
but that's the thing is like, we don't, there's such this interesting like formality with business in the world where it's
Mm,
like, no, I'm in my suit and I don't actually have a body and I don't have a family and I don't have, like desires, and I'm just here and I am neck up,
mm,
and everybody has a life, everybody has a body, everybody has like stuff, their dog or their kids or their,
yeah.
and it's just I think that's one of the ways that in a way, one of the funny things that came out of the whole, past couple of years of online, everybody moving to online and stuff.
Yes.
I won't say those words that make us get flagged, I said those words in a video the other day and it got like flagged. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Those words, the bad words.
The bad words.
Yeah, the C, the P, um, but those online years,
Yeah.
people having the bag of chips rustling in the background.
That's business done different.
Yeah, like or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, everybody was in their homes and it was like they were
Mm,
peering into each other's lives in a different way,
yeah.
and that's kind of cool. It's like
Mm,
it's brought down some barriers, I think, in a way. And I think with the joy of business, like it's just like, let's be real, let's be, real
yeah.
people who have lives and include all of it.
Yeah. That inclusion. I remember I was reading a I don't even remember where this was, but I was reading this article where I think Gary's written about if you're walking on the beach and you're including your body, how can that create a different business for you?
Yeah.
Right. So it's also about being so present with every molecule on the planet that actually has you creating a life, creating a living that is so unique and so different. And it doesn't really require, it doesn't require that right time to do business, but it could be
Totally.
any moment, and every moment is creation time.
Yeah. Well said. Every moment, any moment is
Yeah.
creation time. Like when I move my body, I get so many downloads about things that I could create. And like I was at the ice, I've been really big into ice skating the past couple of years. And I was at the rink this morning, and I'm always like, my body's always teaching me things as I move. Like it's always showing me stuff and teaching me stuff and kind of like talking to me about creation. And then, I was like, oh, well, okay, I'm going to make a video now. It was like, and I made a bunch of videos on the rink and, kind of talking about business and creation. And, but it's never like, no, this is my skating time. I can't do that,
That, just that's such a separation, right? And
Yeah.
it's such a switch off. It's like
Yeah.
even if there's something that you could receive in that moment, some possibility or something that could change your life in that second, in that moment, you're not willing to receive it because you've said to yourself and to the universe that this is not my business time. This
Right.
is just skating time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. That also creates that significance of the energy of focus, right, in the world, or where you have to focus on one thing to create something, and to make it successful, you have to be focused, or else it won't work.
Yeah. Focus, schmocus. That's what I have
Yeah.
to say about focus. Not to be confused with hocus pocus.
Hocus pocus. I like that. I like that. Yeah. That's
Yeah. I mean, one of the classes that we also did when I was in India was an X-Men class, which is,
Yes.
about like having our awareness and like having huge awareness, and all the capacities that come with that. And like one of the things we talk about with X-Men is just this like awareness of lots of different things at the same time, awareness of lots of different timelines at the same time, and lots of different people and places and things and universes. And how can you focus if that's your, if you have that much awareness, which I do, and I know you do, and there's lots of people that are drawn to this work, how can you focus on one thing? Like that to me is so incredibly boring. And it's not only boring, I can't. Like it doesn't
It's difficult.
actually.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Right? It's really tough.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the joy goes away, because you're like, you try to make it so difficult by fitting into what's considered significant and really important to be successful.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like when you allow all these things to kind of be like swirling in your space all the time. Like for me, it's like everything's on the table at any time. I could be, oh, there's a kid thing, there's a buddy thing, there's this thing, there's that, the phone rings, so that, it's like and it's like this play of energies always based on what we're asking for and what we're choosing, in the universe just being like, hey, how about this? How about this? How about this? And all these things can contribute to everything else if you don't have to like block them out, or put your attention on one of them, but you can actually have this like simultaneity of all these energies and spaces and possibilities in your world. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah. And that requires you to have that simultaneity of receiving also, where you're not really in judgment of things, but you're just there to receive it, knowing that you have choice with what you actually choose.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Wow. Yeah. Just looking at all of that, Heather, and just look at, I've been looking at the way you create your business, and I see, from what I see that you've been facilitating, you host Dane, you host Gary, you host so many classes around the world. You're also facilitating a lot of your classes. And I also see you having a lot of fun with your body. I see you having a lot of fun with cooking. I see you having a lot of fun with your cocktails and with your salads, and, just putting it all out there as this is the hedonistic way of life and living. And you don't have to give up anything. And there's no proving, if I can say. That's a huge energy. When one chooses to have a hedonistic way of life, it almost goes into proving that, look at my life, it's better than yours, and look at my life, I'm living such a good life. In your world, I see an ease with receiving all of that, and the creation of all of that, and that always inspires me, and it always pings me into, what does Heather know? So if you send someone pinging at you, it may be me.
Yeah, that's so funny. I think it's funny because it's something I have judged myself a lot for in my life, and I used to a lot more than I do now. But I just I'm like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Like if I'm gonna eat something, it's gonna be amazing. If I'm gonna drink a cocktail, it's gonna be phenomenal. If I'm gonna do something with my body, it's gonna be really pleasurable. Because it's like, why? Like, why put food in your body that doesn't taste good? Or put I don't like mediocrity. I really don't. And it's one of those things that you're sort of just supposed to accept on planet Earth as like a reality. And I mean, most people live like mediocrity, and don't challenge it. And for me, I'm like, and that it's not a judgment, it's just like something to me. Mediocrity is sort of like something that's half-assed, and I don't do anything like that. Like, so it's like, why would you, when you could have something really great, and the beauty of it is like, when you're choosing that level of pleasure and joy and hedonism and like the fun, like the joy of being alive, your business just grows, your money flows just grow. Like it all just works because there's these energies at play that you're like constantly, honing and cultivating and developing, that are just that like bring more into I mean, they increase your receiving, when you're willing to give yourself the gift of that kind of living, your receiving grows every day. And when your receiving grows, your business grows. It's just how it works.
Yeah. When your receiving grows, your business grows. Amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
Just that. Wow. So is there anything that you could, I know you've shared so many magical shares here with everyone, but what if you could share a tool from Access, from the Joy of Business, from your life, from what tool have you been using? What tool is that one that you could share with everyone and leave them to play with that?
I would say just the question, like a question around what's fun for you. Like what would actually be fun for me? Like if I was like, when you wake up in the morning, instead of going into the need of everybody around you, like this is something I've been looking at a lot lately, is like, where do I wake up and it's sort of like this, where I'm like, who needs me? I was talking about this on the thing today. I was like, you wake up and you go, who needs me? There you are. And then on the way to bed, it's like, who needs me before I go to sleep? And when you have a global business, that's also, the time zones and all that stuff. So, but what if instead it was like, you wake up in the morning and you're like, what would be really fun for me today? And hey, universe, would you like bring it on? Show me, show me what's fun and joyful, and the thing is then choose it. Like, don't just ask it, but actually choose it. And this is where it takes courage to choose joy and fun and play and all that. It actually really takes courage because that's not something that's encouraged in the world or like, you know, celebrated. It's like you're supposed to work. That's what's valuable, is work and struggle and all that. So it's been pretty amazing to see, like, the more I choose that as my reality, the more I'm like, wow, it's kind of alone out here, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, not completely, because there's a lot of great people like you that do access, that play with that too, you know? But you do have to be willing to be really different to have that much ease, joy, and glory in your life, basically.
Yeah, just that willingness to have that ease, joy, and glory in your life, where you don't have to make it about the struggle, and you don't have to make it about proving that your struggle is more than anybody else's, so you deserve more. Or you
That doesn't
deserve
happen
more
in
money.
India
Oh
ever, right?
no, not at all. Not at all.
Either in the United
No,
States either.
not at all. That's probably a universal
I think so.
share that, okay, let's see who struggled the most.
Yeah.
And what if you
Every
didn't have
culture
to?
has their own like flavor of that. I
Yeah,
think it's hilarious.
truly, yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
what if struggle isn't real? What if you don't have to choose struggle? And like Heather said, what if you could have a different way that's possible of ease and joy and glory with your business and with your life and with the creation of your life? Wow, this has been an amazing conversation, Heather. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
I
I
truly
adore
enjoyed.
you.
I adore you too, sweetheart. And I truly enjoyed speaking with you today. And this conversation, I wonder what it's opening up in the world for me, for you, and for the planet.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. And sorry, I'm incredibly Instagram challenged.
Don't you worry about that. That couldn't be true. I don't see Heather as challenged. I see Heather as choice.
Yeah, that's actually true. But I choose not to do it. And I have somebody else who does it for me. So it looks like I do it, but it's actually not me. So.
Which is
I do
which
Facebook.
is just amazing.
I'm like, if you want to do Instagram, please do Instagram.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you once again, sweetheart. It's been wonderful speaking with you, and thank you for sharing all those lovely, lovely pieces out there for everybody.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you soon.
Me too.
Bye. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Lots of love, guys. See you all
everybody.
soon.